EFL Championship, the EFL Championship season may have come to a close, and of course Luton Town joining the likes of Cardiff and Plymouth in League One. But what about the 4 teams that have made it into the playoffs? Who's going to come out of this week's action in the driving seat? That's right, the playoff first legs are just around the corner, and my predictions are coming at you next. That's right, folks, but once again with another video. Today it's all about the EFL Championship predictions, first legs, and we'll get to that in a second. Of course, if you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe when you want to stop for Blackburn Rovers, Championship football, world football. We're going to all here under one roof. So I'm on the road here, guys, and this is, of course, take 2, my second attempt at those EFL Championship predictions. Of course, got the first one out there, got the completely wrong teams, wrong matches, so we're back here a little bit later than planned to give you those predictions in just a second. Of course, if you're new again, hit the old subscribe, and a big shout out to the members and the patrons. You know who you are. So what we're going to do now, though, is revisit my last round of picks, and of course jump into the deep end, which is, of course, those playoff prediction first legs. So sit tight, hold on, and let's get into it then, shall we? We're on the road, so do apologise for any jiggery-pokery that's going to come at you right here, right now. So let's take a look at what we're talking about. We're talking about this, and that's right. And these are those results, of course, coming at you from the last round of games. And these were those. So I did all right, I think, with my picks, including Bristol City's draw with Preston North End, 2-2 final score. I did go with a draw on that as well, with a 1-1 scoreline. Burnley with a 3-1 win over Millwall. I went with a 3-0 win myself. Coventry did beat Middlesbrough 2-0. I went with a 2-1 win, of course, which sealed the deal for Coventry. Middlesbrough will be playing Championship football again next season, as will Derby and Stoke. They duked out to a 0-0 draw. I went with a 2-0 win for Derby. Norwich with a big 4-2 win over Cardiff to send them back down into League One on a bit of a whimper. Meanwhile, a little bit of drama maybe at Plymouth, but Leeds coming out on top with a 2-1 win. I went with a 3-0 win. Again, same drama at Portsmouth, 1-1 final scoreline, which kept Hull City up. Meanwhile, Rovers were in the playoffs for about 5-10 minutes when they took the lead against Sheffield United, but ultimately did lose that game, and there was just one goal that separated Rovers from playoff oblivion and, of course, into jubilation. But unfortunately, it's the same old, same old. No playoffs for Rovers. Meanwhile, Sunderland did lose to QPR. They're going into this on a really bad bit of form right now. Swansea also picking up a 3-3 draw against Oxford to end their season on an okay kind of note. Same can be said for Watford and Wednesday in a bit of a dead rubber, but the big game at the bottom there, 8 goals in it, 5-3 West Brom, which did send Luton Town down. That's right. So that's, of course, that. And this is what the table looks like. Of course, Leeds, Burnley, we already knew about that. Leeds guaranteeing themselves top spot with that win on the final day. Sheffield United, Sunderland, Coventry, and then Bristol City make up the playoffs. And, of course, going down. Cardiff relegated last week. Plymouth mathematically had a chance, but they are now down. And Luton Town will be joining them in League One, which makes it back-to-back relegations for them. But can they bounce back at their next attempt? That's a story that will cross later in the summer. So that is that. Meanwhile, we do have the Prediction League. Keep on doing your thing. We'll get you an update for that probably when we do the player final prediction in about a week or so's time. But these correctly right here, right now, are the games that we're looking forward to this coming week. Of course, the first one, Bristol City against Sheffield United. That's right. Coming at you this coming Thursday, the 8th of May. That's the first game. And then Coventry taking on Sunderland. That will be the second game on Friday, the 9th of May. So let's get to the deep end and take a look at Bristol City up against Sheffield United. Now, again, I do apologise. I've got bad eyesight, but they've played 27 times, these two clubs, since I don't even know how long. How long is this? This is back in 1994. 8 wins for Bristol City, 16 wins for Sheffield United. There's been 3 draws between the two sides. Coming into this, though, of course, Sheffield United finishing just outside those playoffs with a whopping over, I think, 90 points for the campaign. Meanwhile, Bristol City finishing in the lastgas.com playoff spot, 6th spot, with 68 points. That's right. Now, of course, they played, like I said, 27 times over the years. Bristol City have a 3-0 win on the record. They've got 29 goals scored against Sheffield United, picking up a 1.07 goals a game ratio. Coming at you, though, the Blades with a 3-0 win themselves on their record. 43 goals scored in those 27 matches, 1.59 goals a game coming into this. Bristol City, though, also coming into this without a win in the last 3. Sheffield United got a bit of a mixed bag of results, just one defeat in the last 4. So maybe, just maybe, a bit of form coming into this. Now, these two sides did play this season. The first game at Thrashton Gate way back in November 2024. It was a Sheffield United United victory 2-1 in the end. Meanwhile, last time they played at Bramall Lane ended up all square. But if you roll back the years over the last 6 matches, Sheffield United yet to taste defeat in those last 6 matches against Bristol City. So that could be the tale of the tape. Bristol City coming into on the back of that 2-2 draw against Preston North End. Sheffield United, of course, that 1-1 draw against Rovers. Their last away match was a convincing 2-0 win over Stoke. Of course it was. So that is that. Of course, now we do have a little bit of odds. The odds actually, yes, I actually can see the odds on my fucking phone. Didn't see that. 13-8 is your Bristol City. 17-10 is your Sheffield United. 11-5 is the draw. Now, of course, that's just for the first leg, not the overall tie. Now, I'm going to give you a prediction right here, right now. Again, if you are one of those special ones that did catch my my error-ridden video for the first attempt, I did have Bristol City playing Sunderland, and I had Bristol City winning that game quite convincingly because I got them completely wrong. So redoing it right here, right now in the hotel. So Bristol City, Sheffield United, completely different story than that proposed first game that I got completely wrong. I do think Bristol City will come out of this with a bit of something. I'm going to go with a draw here, point apiece or a goal apiece, should we say. Gives them a chance to get something out of the second leg, but this is definitely a different kettle of fish compared to what I thought was the actual playoff match, Bristol City and Sunderland. I think Bristol City are a stronger side pretty much against any other of these oppositions at home. Coventry, Sunderland, I think they could beat any one of those guys at Ashton Gate. I just think Sheffield United will get something out of it now. I think they are definitely too much quality heading into this one. So just a draw for them. Meanwhile, let's go on to the next game, which will be the 9th of May, Friday. Coventry against Sunderland again. I predicted Coventry to take on Sheffield United last time, and I think I had a draw in that one. I actually had a narrow win. I think Coventry, definitely at home, are a stronger opposition. So they're taking on Sunderland, the Rico, coming at you this Friday. Of course, they played 22 times since 1996. 9 wins Coventry, 4 wins Sunderland. It's been 9 draws between the two sides. Of course, Sunderland finishing in 4th, and they've been there for a while now. They've been in the playoffs, and they got 76 points at the end of the campaign. Coventry finishing in 5th after that big old win against Middlesbrough with 69 points for them. Now, again, they played 22 times, 9 wins for Coventry. Of those 9 wins, they got a 3-0 win on the record. They got 31 goals scored against Sunderland in those 22 matches, 1.41 goals a game on average. Up against Sunderland, though, coming into this, what are we looking at here? 2-0 winners, their biggest scoreline against their opposition. Coventry, 22 goals scored in those 22 matches. That's a goal a game on average. But their form heading into this is grim stuff. They've lost 5 on the bounce compared to Coventry, who've won 2 and lost 2 heading into this. So not the best form either side. In fact, pretty much all 4 of these clubs coming into the playoffs are in pretty woeful form. So it is, maybe form will go out the window on this one. Now, they did play each other this season. Of course, first game at the Stadium back in November 2024, it was a 2-2 draw. Meanwhile, the last time they played at Coventry was not that long ago, back in March, 15th of March. It was a 3-0 win for Coventry, of course, who are unbeaten against Sunderland over the last 6 matches. They've won 3 and they've drawn 3, so they probably are coming into this with a bit of optimism. Coventry last beating, of course, Middlesbrough 2-0 last time around. Sunderland on the back of that 1-0 loss at home to QPR. Last away match was against Oxford, also losing, and in fact, they haven't scored a goal in the last 3 matches. Very woeful stuff. In fact, they've only scored 1 goal in the last 6 matches. It's absolutely criminal stuff for them. The bookies for this one, though, 13-10 is your Coventry, 12-5 is your Sunderland, and 90-10 is the draw. Again, Coventry at home, it's sat mouse, they're decent, and they could do this. You know, Coventry could actually get over the line and make the playoff final. I think the second leg is definitely going to be a tall order, but I think it all comes down to this first leg, specifically for Coventry City. And if they can get a big enough scoreline in this first leg, they could put it to bed already. I do think they'll win this game. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win for Coventry, which will put them in the driving seat and put them in a commanding position heading into those second legs, which will take place, I think, Monday and Tuesday the following week. So that's my take on it, guys. Let me know your own take on it as we look forward to seeing what's around the corner in those playoffs. But until then, hit the old subscribe, smash the like. Of course, we'll be back for those second legs. I do apologise for that early door slipperino with those make-believe playoffs. But if you saw them, let me know down below that you saw them. But anyway, I'm here in a hotel. We're looking forward to a busy week up in Pennsylvania. But until then, I'll see you soon on the other side.